Greetings, this is Robert Forsch with the YouTube channel Truth. I wanted to go ahead and show you the sunrise here from the Russell Burgess Coastal Preserve. Are you awake? Are you asleep? Are you deceived? Do you believe I'm deceived? Well, here's the deal. I'm going to go ahead and show you this area from a little bit different perspective today, and I'm going to help you to see some of the clues that are all around us. Right on the other side of those buildings right there, the Prince Resort, is the open ocean. Right now there's zero wind movement according to my weather app. And towards the end of this broadcast, I think I'm going to make it about an hour long. I'm going to use two P1000 recordings. And what I'm going to do right now is zoom in on some areas and show you some things. I'll merge it later on. My Facebook looked a little different today when I went on at about 4:30. Now I'm zoomed in pretty tight with the P1000. There's an obvious circulation and the tide is coming in and up. Water seeks its level. Water seeks level, covers the face of the earth, does not stick to a ball, a globe, either stationary or, of course, not spinning, wobbling, and gyrating. But there's more going on than the shape of the earth. I'm going to unpack some of that for you. Some of the most disturbing video I've ever seen, I recently featured. It was on A Plain Truth 2. And you can look at it when right now if you want, but it's on my Facebook. The color scheme on my Facebook was different today. More red there. I don't know if everybody is on the red list. I'm sure I am. The AI, artificial intelligence, has a special treat with me. I'm not going to be messed with. Anybody that wants to mess with me has to get God's permission to do it, whatever it is. So by the time I leave here this morning, this location, water should be up here pretty much. We can see evidence of the fact that the buoyancy of the marsh grass got put up here. When we had Hurricane Matthew, it went over the top of this railing here, just to put that in perspective. The name of my channel used to be Eternal Perspective. Now I call it Truth. You may want to get the notifications activated. And you can, if you want to see what I'm doing on Facebook, it's a lot. And we may, the system is trying to put me in a digital quarantine, a digital timeout. So you can have your parameters of how things come up from me more quickly if you want, or not. I'm going to be doing some things a little bit different. If when I'm tagged in a post, I may drop a link of my liked video playlist. Just be forewarned. Some people might not like that. One of the reasons why I love what I do is I love it. I love what I do. So if I don't acknowledge when I copy a link on a comment, if I don't click like, love, share, or I mean like or love, I won't know that it's even there. Some people's security is pretty tight like mine, and unless you're a friend, you won't be able to drop a link on my stuff. Notice the perfect symmetry of the mostly undisturbed flat water. We should see the houses there pretty pretty clear in the reflection as well. So with the artificial intelligence, the Mark of the Beast system, and it's almost like invasion of the body snatchers of some sort. There's nanotechnology, smart dust, all kinds of toxic additives going in the food, the water, the air. So it's going to be very, very interesting, to say the least. Because there's no wind movement right now, I'm going to go down to a short sleeve shirt. My father-in-law used to say when he was alive, he's not with us anymore because he decided to smoke cigarettes for a long time, and he was one of those rude smokers. Oh well, that's what you get. How about that? I used to smoke. Not smoking anymore. Yeah, and if you can't stop smoking or drinking alcohol or shooting meth or snorting coke or whatever you may be doing, or you may be just trying to do your work your way to heaven, if there is a heaven, according to you. We all have an opinion, opinions, and then we have beliefs. Are those beliefs based on reality? You're living in a dream world, Neo. Exit the Matrix. That's part of what I'm talking about. This is going to require more than your best effort to pick yourself up by your own bootstraps. It's not going to happen, as best I can tell. That's not what happened to me. I was a religious phony. I didn't even know it. I thought I was born again until I actually was. That's the short version. So I had somebody drop in on one of my videos and call me a effing idiot for making a video while I'm driving my car. Like, yeah, I could walk and chew gum if I chewed gum, but it's too loaded with chemicals. I don't chew gum anymore. It's a waste of my time. I don't want to put toxic stuff in my body. That's the point of it. I left his comment up, by the way, and I dropped my playlist there, my liked videos. Just a little something to think about. When you can't fog a mirror, where will you be and why? Why will you be there? Well, all of God's children will absolutely be born again. See a bicyclist down there. I'm going to zoom in on him. With the technology I'm utilizing, the framing grid that's on my P1000, I've had 3 years ago or so, I got a P900, and I've captured mind-blowing video and pictures. I've got terabytes, like over 7 terabytes of data, which is just absolutely amazing. Thousands and thousands of hours of captures. And the reason why I do it is I want to show people the world from a different perspective. The tide is going to come in for a couple more hours. There's a very rugged bottom here with clam beds and that. That looks like where the sun's going to come up today. Later on right over here, later on in the year, it's going to come up in the middle of the view over there. Where the sun and the moon appear and vanish, and the duration of visibility can't be explained by a spinning, wobbling, and gyrating oblate spheroid hurling through space in over 4 directions. The Earth doesn't move. So am I a proud man saying I'll debate anybody? I don't believe so. I don't believe I'm proud. I'm humbled to tell you I was a drug addict. I'm a suicide survivor. I've done stays in mental institutions, voluntarily and involuntarily. Why? Because the drugs that they put me on messed me up. And I'm good now. What a trip. So when somebody's hating on me, it's a good thing. They're obviously a deceived individual. If they don't get what I'm about and they want to hate on me, oh well. If somebody likes what I'm doing and they're encouraging, great. I'll get thousands of views on a video like this. I'm going to send it out to all the hating groups. I'll get locked out on Facebook. What'll end up happening, I'll send this to groups and I'll copy and paste the link to my channel, my YouTube channel. Some people may not like that. Scott Hanley, he's got a thing doing like this, silence. Well, I'm not silence. I get people that sometimes walk out on my broadcasts. Any one of those haters, if they're activated body snatchers like a freaking demon-possessed individual that wants to take me out, oh well. Here's a very precision reflection of a jet trail across the level plain. A lot of people can't see what's going on around them because they're programmed. They're deceived. They're mind control programmed. It's not just that we aren't convincing enough. There's a powerful technology that is messing with their brain. So, have you heard your heartbeat today? I have. I didn't use a stethoscope. I was in the highly purified, carbon-filtered drinking water, bathing in it with baking soda and organic coconut oil. So the water goes in through my eustachian tube or my ear canal, and I'm laying on my back in the tub and I'm working all my muscle tissue and exfoliating myself and watching beautiful music and contemplating life and what's it about. Well, I believe I found it. I found what it's about. Watch the when I link this back up, I'll show you some of the symmetry of the reflections with the P1000. So when I'm listening to my heartbeat sound like a locomotive resting along by a train track, idling. It's a beautiful thing. I don't need to be on any of the cholesterol-lowering drugs, blood pressure-lowering drugs. I'm healthy as a freaking horse. That's just the way it is. I put healthy nutrients in my body. So when the nanoparticles of nanobots and all the crap that they're putting in the atmosphere to modify the gene pool, for gosh sakes, I'm not sure what's in the grass here, but it's pretty cool sounding. We'll probably see it in a little bit. Yeah, they're modifying the atmosphere. There's a dome up above us. That's biblical and that's reality. Some may not. There's a whole lot of people that don't like the Bible because then they've got to keep they've got to obey it if it's real. Well, it is real. The Bible is true. God's word is true, and all others are suspect. The truth is not determined by popular opinion. It's determined by God, like it or not. Oh, but that's just way too restrictive. Yeah, it is. I'm glad I chose to be here. I couldn't have shown you this mirror if I was out on the point where I was yesterday. There's the water tower that I can show you in photos. Let's see. And this is the Russell Burgess Coastal Preserve. Tide is coming in, and a couple miles away is where the ocean fills this area up. By the time it gets here, the water is really calm. I don't feel any air movement at all, not even a little bit. That's why I came here. I was on my way to the point, and I thought, no, with the clouds and the lack of air movement, this is the place to be to show you the sea level liquid mirror. When the sun blasts through right there, and it's going to happen any moment now, it's really going to make these buildings pop, the reflections. With almost a 5-foot tide, the water will be up to the bottom of the stairs. Wow, this is absolutely spectacular. So one of the things that I'll do, I watch a lot of TV when I'm home. Yeah, how about that? I put my YouTube channel on there. I've got beautiful, relaxing views from all over the world. Waterfalls, tropical islands, the sound of wind, waves, birds. A lot of times I'll add the audio Bible to it. I've been born again. I'm not the guy that I was. That's the point of all that. I can show you right now in real time, look at the far right of the view there, that perfect reflection that is, the symmetry of all that. We would not see that appearance with all the supposed movement they say we have. That's all. That's why it matters. So a guy commented that it's crazy for me to believe that there's a God in heaven that created this. Nice zoom camera, though. Yeah, well, how's that going to go when demon-possessed, nanobot-activated mind control people are wanting to take your stuff, and they're willing to do whatever to get it? Do you have what it takes to fend that off? I met a guy yesterday. I met him years ago. He's a really proud individual. Imagine that. Pride is what got Satan kicked out of heaven. He didn't seem to want to talk to me. That's okay. He was putting on the, you're not worth my time. Oh well. That's okay. That's okay. He's a captain of vessels, like out in the ocean. I wanted to ask him if he knew. He seemed to be aware of the Illuminati, the New World Order, and all that. And he's got a compound around here where he has himself all set up. What I was going to ask him, do you know we don't live on a globe? I'm gonna reach out and ask him. Pride is a powerful catalyst for deception. It's true. There's There's a world that's filled with deception. How will you recognize the truth when it's right in front of you? So did Logan Paul make me look stupid? He made himself look deceived and bought out, is what I see. I still like his page. I'll still look at some of the stuff he does. He may come and visit me sometime. That'd be fine. I gave each one of the news presenters and interviewers at the Flat Earth Conference, I gave them a solid gospel message. Need to be born again to even see the kingdom of heaven. I'm living in it right now. In that, what Jesus says perpetually to everybody is the kingdom of heaven is at hand, and you need to be born again to even see it. So I'm truly not afraid to live, die, or tell the truth. I remember being aware of a lot of things and being afraid. Now I'm awake, actually born again, and I'm not afraid. And I'm not intimidated by anybody or anything at all. When I was at the conference in Denver, I had a highly purified water, and drops of it were on the mirror at my table, and there were spots developing. That water was spot-free. There was all kinds of stuff floating around in the air. I'm not sure what it was. You can see it on Not Exactly Normal. When Dylan is walking into the auditorium, the lights, the conference area where the presenters were, you can see the bright lights shining through. There were a lot of fibers and dust and whatever the heck else was in there. I don't know. I can tell you I was high as a kite on marijuana. I didn't bring any, I didn't smoke or vape any personally. However, secondhand vapor was all around. I could tell. I know what it feels like. Can you recognize the dream world when you're in it? One of my cousins jumped off a veranda in the 70s. He thought he could fly. We're about the same age. His dad, my uncle, was using computers to do commercial construction. That was before the personal computers were really out. The early 70s, I think it was. Maybe 76. And Schaub Construction Company in Wisconsin. You can look it up if you care to. They built some massive structures, bigger than those buildings there, bigger than the Prince Resort. My grandfather was a commercial contractor, and he passed the business off to his sons, my dad's step brothers. So I don't know how long the computer technology, artificial intelligence has been self-aware or even in this world. I don't know. There's a lot of mystery in the world. What I would simply say is that I agree with Scripture, what Jesus says. They refuse to love the truth and so be saved in 2 Thessalonians chapter 2. The Bible is an autobiography. The author is the creator of this world. He spoke it into existence. He has no problem causing a man to write down what he wants him to write down, or to do whatever he wants him to do. As best I can tell, I'm doing what Jesus created me to do. I just wanted to show you this real quick with more lighting on it. So I'm serious when I say I don't know how long I'll be able to do this. They could shut my channel down in a heartbeat. Lock me out of Facebook. So there's basically like a rewiring of the brain, the neurosynapses. They call it neurogenesis, some do. God's Word calls it the renewing of the mind. That not only has happened to me, it continually happens day in, day out, every day. I'm so grateful for that. All right, so what I'm going to do, that was the end of the first P1000, and I'm going to kind of briskly take some shots, still shots. When I can see the white line on the building right there, I don't know that you can see it so good. You may be able to on the when I have the P1000, you should be able to see that. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and start another recording. This is Robert Forsch with YouTube channel Truth. I'm at the Russell Burgess Coastal Preserve. Just on the other side of those buildings is the open ocean. That's the Prince Resort right there. The sun appeared at this vantage point at just a couple minutes before 7. And the moon, about a 2% moon, would have been visible within a couple of minutes. Moonrise was within a couple of minutes of sunrise. Where the sun and the moon appear and vanish on the horizon, and the duration of visibility can't be explained by the spinning, wobbling, gyrating, oblate spheroid. This is reality. Okay, and that's what I'm showing people, is the reality of the world that we live in. And it doesn't match up with what the liars from NASA, the mainstream media, the governments of the world, Donald Trump making America great again, the Space Force, all of that. A lot of what we're presented is absolute deception, lies and deception. They'll tell us what we want to hear is Q going to change everything? A lot of the bad people getting rounded up and put in Gitmo, or be war crime tribunals, or what? I don't know. There's a lot of theater. A lot of these people are actors, acting for the Prince of Darkness, for Satan himself. They're very likely Satan's children. However, if they're God's children that simply need to be born again, they will be. They'll have a changed life. Probably get a job change too. Some people have been so... I've heard people in the truth movement say, what does it matter what the shape of the earth does? Will it affect my job? Will it affect... No, it doesn't affect... Of course it affects everything. You may lose your job, you may lose your wife, you may lose your life, for gosh sakes. People saying it doesn't matter. The truth matters. My Facebook is operating different. It's got a red color scheme. It happened somewhere last night. Did that happen to everybody? Did it change for everybody or a select group? I don't know. I didn't scroll through. I had other things to do. I'm not going to be doing a whole bunch of debating with people about what I believe and how right I am. And the reason why is I would rather create a video that people can look at and say, oh, there's another freak show, whack job, flat earther, Jesus freak. And then other people are going to say, thanks for your transparency. Thanks for all you do. I get both of those. And then there's the apathetic crickets. I don't hear anything from them. And on some of those people, they'll probably bump into me in a little bit. I'll bump into them. I may post on their wall, on their Facebook profile. I've started dropping links on videos, the science videos. I'm probably muted by Wolfie. Yeah, Joe Rogan, I got told I was probably going to get booted out of that group. I probably will. That's okay. Apparently Joe Rogan thinks I'm an idiot. Well, at least he knows who I am. Hopefully he's actually going to be born again. Is that the same Joe Rogan that believed that the moon landing was a hoax, and now apparently he believes it wasn't a hoax? Did he get invaded by the body snatchers? Did he get an offer he couldn't refuse? See, I'm prepared to die for what I believe the truth is. If you're not prepared to die for what you believe the truth is, I don't believe you found it yet. I told all the film crews at the Flat Earth Conference that. They wanted to hear it again. Is it only about the shape of the earth? Heck no. It is the biblical creation. I'm a biblical creationist. I'm showing you the world that the author of the Bible created, and I'm talking about it. It's very unpopular. The truth is not popular. Yeah, why buy the cow if the milk's for free? You ever hear that line? Yeah, well, it can get really expensive to compromise your integrity. A lot of people do it. A lot of people take matters into their own hands. It's another euphemism for self-satisfaction. A lot of people are fooling themselves. I'm going to zoom in on the geese right here. Fluid dynamics. Do you know how much a gallon of water weighs? Well, it depends on temperature, because the temperature changes the volume and density of water. Enough temperature change and you get a change of state with evaporation, condensation, precipitation. Enough temperature and you can have steam and power turbines. Water seeks level. It's what it does with hydroelectric power, waterfalls, reservoirs, dams. Okay, so even though these geese are gently cruising through the water here, the ripples that they make dissipate in a very short time. There is a little bit of current here. I have seen an 8-foot bull shark in here. I have seen a woman in the water here sink up to her waist in the mud. Her husband had to come and rescue her. It's like a real slimy mud. The decomposition of grass and fish and whatever, crabs, clams, all that stuff. Sometimes I see an interaction on the surface of the water that looks like frequencies. We have a very powerful cell tower upgrade apparently going on right over in the middle of the view. Myrtle Beach has one with just a massive amount of electronics on it. And I believe that's what we're getting here too. And I'm not all freaked out about it. I'll use that technology to give a better signal while I can. This is all very temporary. This life, we're all eternal beings having a temporary human experience. So from this vantage point, I've got video with the sun in the middle right there, and then way over in the middle of the view there in the summer, and then in the winter months I've got it coming up in the middle of the view right there between the buildings over the top of the house. How would that be possible if there was a uniform rotational speed of 1,038 miles an hour at the equator? It's as ridiculous as the Santa Claus lie. Santa lies, NASA lies, Satan lies. He's the author of Deception. So are there truly blood-drinking, human-sacrificing Satanists? Yeah. How about that? I'm outing them. And more. You can peruse my like video playlist. When you run across a deleted video, I'm not deleting them. YouTube will. They'll take down channels as they care to. Oh well. It's just the way it is. It's selective censorship. That's what it is. So I do realize I look crazy to some. Okay. If you've got any evidence to show where I'm mistaken, feel free to send it to me. You can private message me if you care to. Call me on my phone if you like. I want to show you what the geese did over here. These geese right there are feeding and making ripples right there, and then those will go away if we don't have much movement from the wind. Part of the rewiring of my perspective has been spending a lot of time watching, recording, and sharing the beauty and majesty of creation. Because in many cases, people are basing their eternity, what they believe about what matters most, they're basing that perspective and belief on a lie, on a godless cosmic Big Bang. So I'm not running a filter on my camera. I normally don't. And today I can't capture the sun appearing in the midst of the clouds. Job 37 says that's where it is. It's where it appears to me. I'll go with that. Where the authors of Scripture, a bunch of sheep herders that were naive, well, it's one author, the creator of this world. Not a bunch of sheep herders. He knew, God knows what he created, and he's showing us and telling us what it is. So you may prefer a different belief. You may subscribe to Christ consciousness. You may subscribe to a more New Age, Hindu, or Muslim, Islamic perspective. I'm not in charge of what people believe or what they do with what I present. I'm simply responsible for obediently doing what I believe the God who actually created this place and gave me new life in him. I'll just do what he wants me to do. I tried pleasing others. That didn't work. I tried pleasing myself. That really didn't work. And then, when I was actually born again, I made an effort to continually do what God created me to do. And he gives me a deep sense of satisfaction, purpose, power, an eternal perspective to do what I could not do before. The power is the big thing. I mean, knowing what I should do and being able to do it can be worlds apart. They were for me. And then I go back to, I thought I was born again, till I actually was. There's a lot of people, I believe, like I was, going around talking about Jesus, handing out tracts and talking about God. They may be born again. They may not be. There's a lot of people, according to Matthew 7, that are going to be very surprised. They're going to, on Judgment Day, say, Lord, Lord, didn't we drive out demons, work miracles, and prophesy? He says, away from me, you evildoers, I never knew you. So these aren't the group of haters that are hating on Jesus because he's talking about a more chaste lifestyle than they want to live. They want to do their own thing. Oh well. As best I can tell, doing your own thing, if it's not God's thing, is actually Satan's thing. He's all about having you do what you want. I think it goes kind of like, do what thou wilt, Aleister Crowley. It's all programming, all of this stuff. The music, the movies, the billboards, the lifestyles that are being paraded around us, venerated, held up to high esteem. People wanting to get a lot of subs, make a lot of money, move a lot of merch. Oh well, how's that going to work for you in eternity? That's what I told Logan Paul. I said, what are you going to do when the truth is right in front of you? Will you recognize it? He may come around. He just celebrated 24 years old. We've got sons ages 22 to 29. Once again, a reminder, the drain is in the low spot in the parking lot, so we don't have a swimming pool. Got the Truthmobile here. If you want to tell people how to find it, hashtag YouTube Truth. Well, hashtags are still functional. That'll probably change. I was told it would. A friend of mine said they're going to stop hashtagging. Alright, so I've got to go ahead and do a little change here. All of our interaction with water exposes the impossibility of the globe, just so you know. Doesn't matter how many digits you've got in your bank account, how many letters you have around your name, or what kind of trophy partner you get to enjoy life with, if that's what's going on for you. What matters is the truth. Does Jesus have a sarcastic or a bit condescending way of expressing himself in Scripture? I would say so. How about that? Don't mind if I have a little of that myself. I'm going to take us over to the area that has water going underneath the road on my way over to the ocean here. See how tough it is to see what's coming? Being on a motorcycle like I am, I'm very aware of that. Cars are at a real disadvantage for visibility in a lot of cases. So I'm going to show you the mirror here from a little different vantage point. I may go for an hour and a half. I'm not real sure yet. So I've had this shot from other videos where there would be two whirlpools here turning in opposite directions right next to one another. And you know what? That 2x4 there is probably hindering that. So I'm going to see if I can fix that. Making some ripples. What I wanted to do is clear that so that if we may get the whirlpool, both of them next to one another. Yeah, the placement of the board wasn't so good. It's not going to happen right now. But I do have a thumbnail of whirlpools spinning opposite one another right there. So if your idea of flat earth research is toilet water direction spinning and pictures from NASA, you might want to up your I upped my research. You might want to up yours too. Yeah, see, that's doing the same thing. I'm not gonna get into it right now. Probably later on it'll do that. I'm gonna take us over to the ocean right now. I want to have that be a part of the broadcast. So this is the Prince Resort. Oceanfront condos for sale if you like. Great place to visit too.